Yes, as you can tell, my voice and my abilities to DM will be greatly affected by my missing facial hair. I apologize to all you beautiful listeners and those that are probably now tuning into YouTube because you're like, what the hell does he look like? It's horrifying.
It's
Please,
really the only thing we
save your eyes.
tolerated you for.
It's true. You will have to roll a sanity check if you look upon my face in this moment, and it will be DC 25. So last time we were all here together with facial hair. You had finished your time in the rock blight, killed off the Medusa, cured the steadfast stone with the hollow gem, and eventually made your way back to Inner Bligden Stone and retired for the evening back at the inn. And you had met a interesting giant toad-like figure named Garp de Bumble, who's very interested in your hands, but also, I hope, in your opinion, a striking conversationalist. But who knows? You are harsh people.
I don't know, the hand fetish kind of overshadowed everything else.
Okay, so tone it back. Good.
Or lean in. Just pick one.
Yeah, just go harder on the hands. Cool. Hestor was passed a note, seemingly coming from Chipgrin, his kind of were-rat warren leader, saying that they wanted to meet very soon. And as you had all woken up this morning, well-rested, you had gone out to have breakfast when you were approached by Dorbo and Senny Diggermatic, who are interested in having something done. So there you all sit. You've got Garp de Bumble, who is chowing down on some breakfast food. Tappy has been fervently running around trying to clean up from last evening. Jimmy is covered in bandages and bruises from the beating he got because he retrieved all the pots and pans that he was not supposed to take, that he left behind in the rock blight. And you can just, like, every once in a while hear him wince as he's, like, walking around and bumps into something. And he's like, oh gosh. But Dorbo and Senny approach the three of you, and Dorbo actually, like, before he goes to pull out a chair, he actually looks to you all and goes, do you mind if we join you all for just a moment?
Please, be our guest, Dorbo.
Thank you. And he pulls out the chair and actually beckons for Senny to sit, and she quickly thanks him and then turns to the lot of you and goes, so, we were informed by Gurnik that you had quite an interesting evening, or day, perhaps, in the rock blight.
Interesting couple of days, to be sure. Lord and Lady Diggermatic,
You don't need to dress us like that. We appreciate that, but you don't need to be that formal.
Apologies. What do we owe the pleasure?
Dorbo, like, launches himself across the table. Don't be so casual with my wife! That doesn't happen.
You'll call her lady and like it!
Yeah. So he goes, well, we are, for one thing, incredibly humbled for the help you've already given us in our city and our people. So far, I think I can say for the two of us, we are much surprised, as we did not think that you would offer yourselves so freely in this way. And of course, I've heard from some of the individuals in town how they have offered you small payments in some ways, and she looks up at Dorbo. I think that perhaps we could come up with something as well for your services, because we do sincerely appreciate everything you have done, and now that the rock blight is cleared, we will have much more space for those that frankly don't have enough space for homes currently. But that's not truly why we're here in this moment. That's part of it. But, Hestor, we are now open to the idea in meeting with Chipgrin. And, well, we were wondering if it's something you could...
Dorbo in this moment, does he... Is
Roll
she
an insight
speaking
check.
for both of them? Okay.
First roll of the night.
Okay, pretty middle of the road. 14.
14. You see that he has like a light hammer through his belt, and one hand is like kind of resting on the head of it, and you can see like his knuckles are a little bit tighter.
Okay.
But the rest of his posture is like, he doesn't love it, but you can see that they're in a situation. The more that you guys have moved around the city, it's clear to see that they need all the help that they can get, and this isn't something that he loves, but is willing to do it. But Senny goes, so do you think you can get in contact with Chipgrin and extend perhaps an invitation to meet?
You're meeting us on a rather serendipitous morning. I received a note from the Warren last night that Chipgrin was looking for some communication as well, so I was most likely on my way over there in the next day or so.
Well, this is quite serendipitous indeed. No, this is wonderful. I would like to think she's looking up at Dorbo that perhaps we're both of minds for peace. And she turns back to the three of you. Well, if there's any kind of hesitation on Chipgrin's part, considering our differences in the recent past here, perhaps you can state to them that we are absolutely willing to meet in private with perhaps a neutral party, such as yourselves or someone else within the city, to kind of mediate if there is any need for it. And it can be a location of their choosing to make them feel more comfortable. I hope with those kind of conditions that they would be very amenable to our meeting. Do you think that sounds fair to a degree?
I think that is more than kind. I think he would be a fool to scoff at such conditions given the history and the current state of things. I would be more than happy to pass that along.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Is there anything that we can do for the three of you as thanks for what has occurred here in the last couple of days? Oh, sorry, I think I cut out there for a moment.
Yeah.
Senny goes, well, I believe that concludes anything that we need or would like of you that we would be willing to ask. But is there anything that you need of us? Anything that we can help provide as thank you for what you have done with the Rock Blight?
I am one to say that our services have come out of a hope for the continued recovery and the greater good of Blingden Stone. I do know that that is a sort of selfish belief. I do know that my my companions here would still like to keep an open mind to the potential aid of their greater plight should things shape up nicely here and the resources become available.
The Demon Princess, yes.
Yes. We hope once this peace is struck within this city and you are well on your way to rebuilding, that once we return and the moment of reckoning is upon us, you will aid us in our righteous quest to spite that evil that lurked within these caverns.
All of you make perception check.
Perception?
Yeah.
23.
Dang.
Nice. 14.
14.
I
I got a 14. I got a 14.
Okay, great. This is great. All of you see Dorbo actively roll his eyes like, oh my god.
Yep.
But you see Seni actually, she kind of sinks a little bit in her chair, and like she just nods her head like, Well, we will certainly see what perhaps we can muster in that. I think there is a much deeper conversation that will need to be had as to what kind of aid that will take for the form of from us. We, as you can tell, are in some dire conditions, getting lesser by the day from your help. But yes, I think something could perhaps be done relatively
Most
soon,
excellent.
perhaps in that aid. Well, thank you.
Thank
for
you very
your
much.
time.
I of course, don't want you to overextend, such as this conversation with Chipgrin. We are merely in hopes that a conversation can be had. We couldn't ask much more than that right now.
Yes, no, of course. Well, I'm sure you have a lot on your plates, things to do on your own, and we won't bog down your time anymore. So thank you. Dorbo, perhaps you can cover any bill that they might have at the table with Tappy. To which Dorbo kind of nods and actually goes over to the bar where Tappy's wiping down, and he pays for your breakfast, any other outstanding bill, and they head out on their way.
Well, that was rather fortuitous, no?
Hester gives like a big exhale, like he had his gut sucked in that entire conversation, and he finally lets it out.
Are you okay?
Oh, yes.
Is the meal not sitting right with you?
Sorry that it's a big deal for an outsider, especially an outsider like myself and the both of you to be granted a informal audience with the Diggermatics. Especially one where we are granted such high praise.
I thought you handled yourself quite well.
I appreciate that.
Yes, I did notice your cute little paunch the entire time you were speaking, just until right now.
Yes, I would say that you were not quite as eloquent as Starcaller. His words were quite commanding and fierce and persuasive, but yours were quite nice.
Well, it's not his fault. My words drip with truth, while his are, the snivellings of, no offense, but, a lesser goal. It's not, no offense.
We're getting a little bit, I think the important thing is that they were going to offer some petty monetary or physical reward, and I negotiated the conversation back to aiding you in your larger goal. So maybe you remember that.
An unusually adroit move. Well played, Hester. It will be remembered.
You know what they say about a stopped sundial.
I do not.
Artemis just stares into the middle of the distance. In Scylla's defense, she's never seen a sundial.
Yeah.
To Artemis's, he's just very
Yeah.
dumb.
I just imagine Artemis having like some terrible like Vietnam flashback that has nothing to do with the actual saying about a clock.
Yeah.
It's just some terrible tragic story involving a sundial.
It's just his uncle being impaled on a sundial. It's
I was gonna say, they're quite
unholy
pointy.
right. Yeah.
My family was crushed under a sundial. More
Artemis
weight.
is-
Sorry.
Artemis just snaps back. Oh, well, where to next, friends? Shall we see this grinning chip? Chip grin.
Does the timing? Yes, if the timing makes sense to you, Hester, I think that perhaps is the correct next move.
No, I think it is definitely time. We've gone long enough without checking in. Although I do believe before we step outside the city bounds, Gurnik was talking about some sort of blessing for us.
Yes, smooth be his hands. Let us go and beseech our friend Gurnik.
So, quick stop to Gurnik, and then we can go talk to Chipgrin.
Okay.
Yes, a fine idea.
You all make your way to the Speaking Stones, and as you arrive there, you see that Gurnik stands amongst a number of acolytes of sorts that are all kind of muttering and talking to themselves amongst these standing stones. And as the three of you approach, Gurnik comes forward and goes, "Welcome back, my friends. It's good to see you. I hope you have rested of some sort."
Yes, I feel quite rested. I believe we all are.
Yes.
Well, that is wonderful news. I'm assuming you are here for your gifts from our lords, yes?
No, yes, it is time for us to smooth our hands. I'm not familiar with the cultural conventions of this area.
Yeah, you're just sounding a little bit insensitive at this point. So maybe just take the blessing with a thank you, and
I'll rein it in.
leave the gods alone.
Well, please let us all be gathered.
But
If
yes,
you could
we
kneel here amongst us, I will call upon our gods. I would only ask that you keep in your minds if you would prefer the smooth hands or the earth caller's wishes, and they shall be bestowed upon you as you wish.
remind us, Will. The blessing of Smooth Hand was the one that gave us the bonus to saves, correct?
Yes, if you take, I believe it's Caladurin's Smooth Hands Blessing, you get a +1 bonus to, I believe, AC and saving throws. And then if you go with the Earth Caller,
Yes.
you get the,
Okay.
yes, here it is. Yes, the Blessing of Protection or the Blessing of the Weapon. The weapon adds a +1 modifier to your weapon, or a weapon of your choice.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I believe you had all said you wanted the Smooth Hands protections, correct?
Yeah, none of
yeah,
us are
that's-
wasting time on the Earth whatever's
I
thing.
mean,
right?
listen,
Okay.
I have a +2 magic axe. I can't look back, you know?
That's
Yeah,
actually a
no,
question.
that's
Does
fair.
it turn a mundane weapon into a +1, or does it just add +1 to a weapon? So, like, if we had a +1, does it make it a +2?
I believe anything that is a plus anything, it's considered a
Very
magical
important
weapon.
question, William.
So it does turn a mundane into a magical +1 weapon.
Okay.
But I can't make like a fucked up +8 weapon with this, right?
No.
Like we can't like pass Dawn's Edge around and like. Okay.
No,
I'll sit
yeah,
quiet
no.
with my stone hands blessing then.
Yep. Yeah. I guess the protection of the smooth hands is all we can ask for.
Sand these hands.
Send them down.
Smooth them down.
You know, now
Uh,
it just sounds like you're mocking us.
yeah, no. Get on your knees and pray to our lords. Thank you.
That's fair. Yeah.
The
Hopefully
last time
they
I
will
mocked a
continue
god
to.
and was told to get on my knees, it didn't end well.
All the priests are like, really, we're giving these guys a blessing? Oof. But they go and stand amongst the stones, and they begin to bow their head and begin chanting as the three of you take your places as Gurnik shows you. And then Gurnik begins in primordial, calling out to the smooth hands. And as they do, like, eventually you guys are kind of put into this hypnotic trance. And it's almost like you can feel this rhythm echoing within the earth that kind of reverberates up through your bodies. And after a few moments of this, that eventually starts to quiet. And so do the voices of all the acolytes and Gurnik, until Gurnik finally turns to you all, and you can still kind of feel that pounding, almost like if you can hear your heartbeat like in your ears. It's like that sensation. He turns to you all and goes, "The Smooth Hands has agreed to bless you. Thank you for all you've done for this city and our people. May you continue on in peace in your journey. We shall be here should you need your wounds to be tended of any sort. I would ask that you hopefully lay off the petrification, as I am running low on stock, and I can only call upon the Lord so many times."
Fair. We will do our best to not be any more petrified than we need to be.
Good. Well, I hope you have a very blessed day.
Bye.
I think Scylla will after this entire ritual is like everyone kind of like, this is like a normal ritual that like no one is surprised by this, or they're like, I'm just curious on how common.
This is definitely I imagine you have a conversation with like Gurnik, or even back at the Foaming Mug you had a conversation with like Tappy and stuff, and they tell you that no, this kind of blessing is not done regularly, that it's really only to either people of great significance, or even those that are deemed by the city that they feel are worthy to go through this ceremony. They're not always blessed by the Smooth Hands. So the fact that you were kind of promoted for this blessing, and then that God chose to bestow you with it, is a huge honor.
Yeah, I think Scylla, knowing that, will approach Gurnik once it's over, and she will hold out her hand in a gesture of a handshake, which she has seen many people do. Gurnik, it is quite... I feel honored to have received this blessing, and combined with your prowess on the field of combat not so long ago, I am quite honored to have met you and to have fought alongside you, and all of that to say, my sword is yours should you be of need of it in the coming time.
Gurnik is quite surprised, but you can see a lot of joy is written on their face, and they see your hand out for a handshake, and they just like high five it, and they're like, "Thank you, Scylla. I greatly appreciate that. It was horrifying to be out in the field fighting, but I did," and he kind of leans in and whispers, "I did kind of enjoy myself, to be honest. It was quite fun. But I don't think I'll be making it a regular habit."
I could tell you were enjoying yourself.
Could you really? It was written all over my face, wasn't it? Oh, shoot. Well, listen.
We were all a bit scared, but yes.
I hope the Smooth Hands takes that into consideration the next time I'm called upon, that he will protect me so that I can keep doing the good work. But yes, no, thank you for offering your sword in such a way. I do greatly appreciate that. I do hope we don't have any need for it, though.
Yes, of course. No rough hands here. And she hands up her hands, and then she will kind of like do an awkward bow and head away.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, Hestor, will you see us off to your, I don't know, like, boss, I guess?
Yes, absolutely anything to not see you two try to practice other cultures' religions anymore.
Oh, don't worry. We can do more later. Don't you worry.
Yeah, let's go talk to Chipgrin.
Okay. You have a few ways of getting there, Hester. You know that there is a secret entrance that goes in through what everybody within the city calls the maze, which is the first line of defense here in Bligdenstone. Otherwise, you have to go up into the reception hall to the far north and essentially do kind of like a secret informative knock and hope that there's someone there to recognize it and allow you in. Which way do you think you want to get everybody through?
Has the maze been affected by any of the recent dangers of Bligdenstone? Like, are slimes encroaching on there? Do I think it's going to be a more treacherous journey going that way than just going through the reception hall?
No, you don't. You don't recall that there's any kind of preoccupation of those things going on within the maze. The maze itself is just kind of difficult to navigate as there's lots of traps and fortifications within it. And it's also not a very actively used way to get in. It's usually way as a kind of like as an escape route, but it has been used to get back in during the more quiet hours of Bligdenstone. So it's really up to you how you want to approach.
I think knowing that, I think the just standard way in through, like out the reception hall, is probably the best scenario.
So you make your way into the reception hall and you all see Hester approach this door. What does this knock or secret way to inform someone that you're there and that you're an ally look like?
I think it is less of a knock, and it's like a series of communicative scratches in certain places of the door that, like, convey a certain message.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So does it take you a while, or is it a very quick, very quiet thing, you think?
No, I think it's like it's just a quick, like, few places. Yeah, just a very, very quick gesture, like moving around very speedily, but intently and precisely in those places.
Okay. There is a moment where you don't hear anything in response until you then finally hear what sounds like a couple swift scratches back. And out of these, like, very large doors that stand in front of the three of you, a smaller one very, very quietly, just like seemingly almost like it was laser cut, just fades back and out. And you just hear a voice go, "Get in. Quickly.
I have company. Don't be alarmed."
I can see that.
And I'll
get in.
Scoot in.
I'm not lying, dumbass.
Why is everybody at the gates an asshole?
Careful, Brendan. Last time you created Jimmy. Be careful.
Yeah.
It's true. You have power in your words.
Yeah. Shut up, Timothy.
Oh, God. All right. So you are ushered through this door in which you see that there is a deep gnome in hybrid were-rat form. Very thin, lanky. They've got these whiskers, a more rodent-like face, kind of larger ears going on, and a little bit of a tail and more of the biped legs. But they go, "It's good to see you again, Hester. It's been a while. Good time out in the big city."
It has certainly been eventful, and I will be happy to sing my tales when I've spoken to Chipgrin.
Yes.
Who is
they're
this
waiting.
individual?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Who is this individual?
You recognize this as Linus. He's kind of essentially just the door
Classic.
guard. He rotates in and out.
A rat named Linus. Come on.
Sam's got it all figured out, guys.
I see right through your games, Will.
Oh yeah, you got me, Sam. You got me. So Linus lets you in, and Hestor, you really know the way here. You know that you have to go north and up to the northwest till eventually you get into the what used to be known as the Hall of Miners, and that's kind of like the main gathering chamber for the Were-Rat Coven. And as you kind of lead everybody forward, I'm going to go ahead and reveal this whole area now. As you all come forward into this space, you see that there's a small crowd gathered about. And most of these assembled creatures that you come upon are, in fact, deep gnomes, but some of them have the more rat-like features. And in the midst of this room there's this rise, this natural platform, and you see a quite fat-looking specimen standing in front of all the others. And as you come around the bend, they turn towards you and they smile, and they have these jagged buck teeth. And give me a moment here.
Stop it.
No. No, you didn't. Oh, well.
What is happening?
He understood the assignment.
I
Video
can't.
content? Yeah, he'll give you video content.
Oh, no.
Well, you didn't shave for this, man. Oh, God.
Peace, my friends.
Let's go.
Chipgrin's the name, Ham
Oh,
Chief
God.
of the Gold Whisker Clan. Shall we talk?
And he proceeds up farther onto this rise, in which you see there's this very large chair, and beside it sit these two large, mean-looking giant rats. And the atmosphere in this space is a little hostile. You can see that all the were-rats are armed with daggers and short swords and like light crossbows. They're all wearing dark leather armors, similar to Hestor in a lot of ways, but everybody here looks mean. And I actually want you guys to roll either perception or insight checks.
25 on perception for Hestor.
Okay.
11 perception.
I got a dirty 20 perception.
Okay. As you're looking around at everybody, and Hestor, this probably strikes you the most, and then Starcaller, you notice a lot of this stuff pretty well. Scylla, I will say with like a lot of your experience and background, you see that basically everybody here, including Chipgrin, has bandages on, and they look old. Very few are fresh or even clean, but these guys have burn marks and cuts, and some even have like a couple missing limbs, or pieces of like their tail are missing and stuff like that. These guys look rough. Hestor, you know, when about 3 weeks ago now, when you were last here, nobody was in this bad of shape. Like, sure, you guys had a couple skirmishes and, some fights, and a couple people got banged up, a couple lives were lost. But you're looking around, and you see that there are 40 were-rats within this large space. Not so, like, it's not depicted here on Roll20 that there's that many, but there's about 40 gathered here. And as you look around, Hester, you think that a good almost 30 to 40% of you are missing. And whether that means that they're dead or just outside of the warren or at home somewhere, you're not sure. But things are looking rough. Scylla, you and Artomis are very much picking up on this, and clear to see, like, these are battle wounds. And nobody in, like, the regular part of Bligdenstone looked anything like this. Something has happened to these guys. They're in dire straits, it seems like, but they're all very wary of you.
But they're also very aggressive right now.
Yeah, it's a passive wariness, like a wounded animal, very much. Like they feel
they're guarded.
Cornered, and they're guarded, and
I've seen shit.
Yeah.
What has happened here?
It looks as though they are bandaged and burned and perhaps beaten.
Yes, thank you, Scylla. I
was just telling you what I had
It's
observed.
just answering the question you asked. I mean,
I was not directing the question towards you.
My friends, come here. Come up here. Let us speak. I will tell you much of what has occurred here.
Do we need to approach and kiss the ring first?
You might. So on this kind of rise is actually a really well manicured carpet of green moss. And as Chipgrin settles his kind of large, bulky form into this stone chair with his two rats kind of like moving in to guard the front of him,
he goes, "Much has occurred since you left, Hestor. It's been 3 weeks now, and almost no word from you. Yet my people tell me that you have been having quite a pleasant trip within the city, is it not so?"
Chipgrin, I cannot tell you that the time that I've had has been pleasant. As you know, I began investigating the disappearance of Corton Pickshine and his group of miners. That led us down into a deep chasm in the underdark where the entire mining group had been, it seems, overtaken and corrupted by deep sea abominations. They themselves had become twisted alien creatures. We had to put them down. We came back to relay that news to the Diggermatics to garner more favor and in my selfish desire to set up a parley between you and the Diggermatics. I had spent time with my new traveling companions in the city doing odd tasks, the most recent of which led us into the not Blightstone,
Rock Blight.
Fucking blanking here.
Rock Blight.
Rock Blight, thank you. The most recent of which had led us into the Rock Blight, where we faced terrible creatures such as a Medusa, petrified drow creatures, corrupted elementals. It has been
Chipgrin starts waving his hand at you, and he's like,
Enough. I already know of these things. I had my people watching you within the city, keeping an eye on you, Hestor. I know how this works. I know why you went out, and I appreciate what you've done for the family. Don't think you won't be rewarded for this.
Will has been waiting for this
Yeah.
for
I really
months.
Bated
What
breath.
character?
But let's get down to the brass hobnails then, my friends. You were sent by the Diggermatics because they want us out, right? Right? Well, they might get their wish soon
no.
enough, but in a way they ain't likely to cheer about. You see, Hestor, the oozes that came forward months ago and slow little dribbles have become nothing but a constant blight upon us. They fill the outer warrens constantly, attack us. They come through in droves, but I've finally figured out who's done it, who it is, who's the bastard doing this to us and our family. I remember him from when he worked in the tunnels, and my kin saw him when he returned. I know who he is, what he's doing, and most of all, where he can be found. If you, and he points to the three of you, and the Diggermatics want, I can take you straight to him. He would calls himself the Pudding King.
A king made of pudding? It's a thing I've never heard of.
I think it is the king of the puddings.
No, he calls himself the Pudding King. I've heard him scream it in the tunnels. He's weird as fuck. I mean, seriously,
I
he goes
heard it
around running
on
with
the day of
oozes.
my
He's
daughter's
like, I'm
wedding.
The Pudding King. Jeez, people these days.
Puddin'.
Pudding.
Well, Chipgrin, this is grave news and good news. I actually come because the Diggermatics have seen, they have seen sense and are open to a parley with you about what can be done as a unit as opposed to our two peoples fighting against each other constantly. This is a time where we need unity, and they see that now. They are willing for you to choose a place to speak, and they will hear us.
Come here, my son. Come here.
Do you approach him?
I approach.
He eases himself
I approach.
off of his
I
throne.
kneel in front of him.
He goes, stand up. There's no need for this. You've done us a great service.
And he wraps you in a hug and just like a light pat on the back. His fingers are absolutely covered with lots of gold rings.
Goes,
He grabs your face. He goes,
Yup.
I will never forget this wonderful service that you've done for me. Truly.
and he pats the side of your face.
Now, Linus, get your ass over here. Charlene and Lily need to be fed. Take them away.
And the giant rats run off with Linus to be fed. Just... And Chipgrin turns to the two of your friends and goes,
I have heard of your names and of your exploits here within Blakenstone, but I have been rude and not truly introduced myself or heard you speak.
and he waddles forward and he holds out his hands to you, Scylla.
She looks very uncertain, but she will make a bowl with her hands and put them under his awkwardly.
He takes both of his and wraps them around.
It is wonderful to finally meet you. Here's a Tootsie Roll.
And then goes over to Artomis.
Hello, fair Chipgrin. It is well to make your acquaintance. I am Artomis Starcar, sworn blade of the Kingdom of Ember, battle warden of the Dawn, he who seeks to destroy demons and make a just home for all in the Underdark.
Wow, that's quite a title. Yeah, I didn't think I needed to hear all that, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
And he shakes your hand and he gives you a Tootsie Roll.
I made it myself. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no,
Tootsie, my favorite.
that's good.
What is a Tootsie Roll?
Don't
Is this
ask
food?
what goes into it. Yes, no, you eat it. It's good stuff.
It's Hestor will just like lean over. It's mostly compacted rat feces. I wouldn't take it.
Artomis is already chewing his. Quite good. Yes, delicious.
We changed up the recipe. It's a lot better for you now. None of that stuff. I heard Frankie was the one doing that as a joke to everybody. He's swimming with the oozes now. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Yes, and Lord Chipkin, you mentioned this Pudding King, and is he the one who has inflicted this harm upon your people? And Artemis gestures broadly at the injuries around them.
Yes, indeed he has. He is the one that seems to be calling forth this pestilence on our people. They come through the maze, oftentimes when the city sleeps, coming through our warrens, attacking us indiscriminately. It's awful. I can hardly keep up with the bandages, as you can see. Oh, Timmy, look at you. You poor bastard. He doesn't have any legs or arms anymore. Poor guy. Hey, Tim, I'll send a roast home to your wife, Sally. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of you, Timmy. You were too good to me. Blow some kiss.
Oh my god.
Lord Chipkin, it dawns on me that while we have been in aid of the folks in Bligdenstone, we have not yet proven ourselves to you personally. Might we aid your people by removing this sliding, oozing menace from your vicinity?
This would please me greatly, young Starcaller, but I do not think you truly understand the situation. Come with me.
And he walks down off of the rise, and he's just assuming that you guys are following him. And he starts moving to the east. And as he's walking, he goes,
At first, we did not care that an ooze or two came through, as they often left us alone. But as their numbers have slowly progressed further and further, I did not realize that he had other means of gathering them to his side.
And eventually you guys reach like a wall, a crumbled wall. And you can see that there's like a were-rat that is peeking through, and he goes,
Johnny, come down here. They need to see this, to truly understand how dire this situation has become.
And the were-rat comes down and he goes,
Oh, look, see what has become of our enemy.
Who goes up to peek through the hole?
Artemis goes up and looks.
Yeah.
You look through, and it's enough that you could probably all be able to look through if you wanted to at the same time.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
We do that.
As you're all peeking through, you all see a bit of what Hestor described to you the other day in the rock blight when you peeked through some rocks, which was tunnels absolutely covered in like fetid growths and slime and dripping almost what looked like slime from the ceilings. And as you look in, you see that it's very much like that, but all before you, within the hall beyond, you just see mounds of oozes of various colors and slimes sloughing about. You see skeletons floating amongst them on the floor. You even see like a couple bones drop from the ceiling pretty close to the wall that separates you guys from them. And you just see hundreds of these oozes and slimes beyond.
Will, does this look like imagining the layout of the cave systems, is it at all possible that this is the same area we were looking into from the rock blight?
You would assume yes. Every tunnel and burrow within Bligdenstone that you could look in through, even all the collapsed sections, eventually connected back in to itself at another location. So yeah, even though this is a great distance from where you were, you imagine this is probably the far other side of where you were looking before.
It is quite the pudding problem we have here.
That's putting it lightly.
Yes. So you can understand my concern and my urgency in talking with the diplomatics. For our petty differences of territories here within the Warrens is nothing compared to what belongs on the other side of those walls. They do not comprehend what awaits them. I am sure the Pudding King would surge forth from the rocks with his army of oozes to take over the city if we wait too long. So something must be done here.
I think this information can only bolster our conversation with Dorbo and Senny. I think we must arrange this talk at once. We must unify, pool our resources, and push out this Pudding King before there's no Bligdenstone left to fight over.
Indeed. And thank you for your understanding. I do appreciate this. However, I would ask something of you before you go. My people are much in need of care, of medicine, bandages, those that can heal. However, they do not trust yet those within the city who pray to the old smooth hands and the earth caller. But I have heard stories of a figure who lies outside the city capable of great healing magics. I would implore you, plead to you, my dear new friends, and Hestor, my sweet child, to go and find whoever this person is and bring them back here. For we of the Whiskers, the Gold Whisker clan, would not go down without a fight. And we cannot offer information without backing up with the true power of our own. Would you do this for me?
I think we must.
Of course, it'd be my pleasure to bring healing unto a people in seek of it.
Where can we find this healer? Or where might we start to look?
I've only heard that on the outskirts of the city to the west, she, or whomever this figure is, lives in a land that some call dreams. I do not know of this nonsense. Spook tales. I do not know. All I've heard from those that have ventured close to her territory was that it's pretty spooky. There's the skeletons all over
Spooky
the wall.
indeed.
There's weird painting and shit. I don't know, kid.
I don't know what else to say about it.
It's a little spooky.
It's a little spooky.
I'm telling you straight, it's spooky. Oh no.
Listen, if you come across a stranger, ask him, you got any bandages? You got any other than magics? If they do, great, bring them here. I'll strike a deal they cannot refuse.
Oh,
You have come to me on the day of the Pudding King's wedding.
Do I have you? Can you do this?
I would hope by now that I have proven that I am a man of the people of Lignanstone, be it Gold Whisker Clan or otherwise. So if this is what you need, I will bring this healer to you.
Thank you, Hestor.
I do not have it in me to watch another city fall. And Hestor, you have earned my loyalty in this, and I will aid you as you need.
Chipgrin walks up to you, Scylla, and he grabs you in a hug, and he kisses both your cheeks.
Thank you, sweet child of the deep. I greatly appreciate this.
Oh.
He actually smells pretty
Yes.
good.
He smells good.
Smells pretty good.
I think
Pretty
Scylla's
good.
like, yes, I will help. Yes? Hestor?
It's just a formality. Consider it a handshake. It is a sign of great respect and affection.
Artemis.
Yes, I am affectionate as well. And then she will step back.
Dear Artemis, star caller of the stars, will you help me?
Indeed. In this, my friend, my blade is yours.
Thank you, good sir.
And he takes you, kisses your cheeks, goes,
Is there any way in which I may help provision you with what meager means we have before you set forth to find this person for me?
I as seemingly malprovisioned though you are, I would not seek to take from you in your hour of need.
You are much too kind, Starcaller. We will have a feast for you on your return, hopefully bearing good news and a new friend. But please let me personally show you the way out.
and he starts to waddle his way towards the same door that you guys came through. Do you guys have any more questions for him before you go, or anything you would like to address?
I think as they're exiting, Hestor will try to, in a as private a moment as they can get, sort of palm something to Chipgrin. I know this is a meager boon with all that has been going on lately, but if there is any way that this can help the clan, I would be remiss to hoard everything I have gained in pursuit of this task, and I will give him one of the first level spell gems that
Wow.
I have.
He absolutely knows what you're doing, and like does a very good handshake with you to kind of pass it off as nothing but a gesture between friends and like a goodbye.
He goes, Hestor, my boy, you do not need to do this. Please, hold on to this. I would much rather have you return here in one piece. If this may help save your life, we will be all right.
I will bring back that healer and more, and then maybe we can know peace here.
I certainly hope so. Here is a letter for Dorbo and Senny. I had Linus write it up, worth the shit that he is for spelling, about a meeting in a place, and we will communicate again on the time for it. But I will not keep you. Go, be free, children.
All right. And, back into Blingdenstone we go.
Man,
Yeah.
I have a new favorite character. Damn.
My lips hurt
Yeah,
from
wow.
doing that.
Wow. Good job, Will. Holy shit.
Thank
Cotton
you.
balls
Thank
and
you.
all.
Got malls and all.
I think
Um,
I've made the joke once of him being like, of it being a Godfather situation. I did not expect that level of steering into it.
I had to do something fun for it. So you guys have just finally met and seen the Gold Whisker clan and the infamous Chipgrin. I'm very curious what everybody's thoughts are after now meeting what has only been described as like this major threat by everybody else in the city. Except for Hestor, of course, who's been doing nothing but trying to help them.
He's in that space where it's kind of like, that's not what I expected. After all, like how scary they're made to feel,
Mhm.
by the Digrammatics, and also how like relatively weakened both positions are now that we truly see them. That like, oh no, these are just two communities on the brink of collapse. And this meeting will either bring them together, make them stronger, or they will both implode.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, the stakes are much higher than they were just a moment ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Scylla is... So she's from the lake where she lives amongst, like... I have this whole, like, story in my head that she lives amongst all these different, like, species and creatures, and everyone lives pretty well together. I mean, of course, there's, like, outsiders and things, but... And I think in her mind, she's trying to understand, like, why are they fighting? And like understanding the culture of a people who are in hiding, but also like they can't seem to agree on a common enemy. Like she's not really understanding everything, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's also thinking that this Pudding King, she's like, is this like another big entity? Like is this like related to everything else? Like she's thinking of them from a quite large perspective. So
Yeah.
she's very worried about this community. Both.
What about Hestor?
Pudding King or Demon Prince?
That should be the thumbnail. All
I
was going
think
like
Hestor is very I don't know. I think there's this weight off of his chest that Hestor is seeing both sides sort of, because Hestor sort of lived two lives, like recently. Like he's from the Gold Whisker clan, but he's been spending time in Blingdenstone and knows that he's been trying to help the people at large, and his biggest frustration has been that they couldn't find that common ground, that they were spending more time warring with each other. And I think now there's that glimmer of hope that yes, the straits are dire, and he's very worried about that. He's incredibly worried about the state of the clan right now. But it looks for the first time like both sides are willing to call a ceasefire, and maybe the city actually has a chance without one of them losing it.
Yeah, because you guys for months, almost a year, were essentially engaging in guerrilla warfare with the Digrammatics and the rest of the city, because they were very vicious in trying to get into the Northern Warrens where your clan sits, and you guys were just desperate to keep any kind of place to live, and quite a few lives were lost. But even now, so much worse, even though there's been such a cost, the fact that you're right, that they want to communicate is huge. And I loved how, for Andrew at least, it was like a kind of put into perspective how shitty it truly is here within the city and how much they actually need. Because like, I think there was a moment a couple weeks ago, you guys were like, what are we doing here? Like, they're just like can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do that? And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
now that you see like a third of the city is supposedly infested with oozes. Another third is just on the verge of dying and all wounded, while everybody else is living in poverty on the other side, essentially. It's pretty rough. And the fact that like you guys are coming through and giving them so much hope is pretty impressive. You know, it's not for nothing.
It's very much a like very cool representation of like the hierarchy of needs. Like we come in here or you know, Starcaller and Scylla are coming in with the perspective of, oh, the world's on fire, like demon princes are here, we need to fix this large scale issue, and these people can't even begin to think in that kind of scale because their day-to-day is a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you're back out into what has been now kind of known as the reception hall, just on the other side of these doors from the Gold Whisker clan and Warrens. And you guys have said that you'll go look for this mysterious healer. Is that where you, in fact, want to head?
Yeah, I think we should get that letter to the Diggermatics first, just so that correspondence is complete. Sort of close that loop of, yeah, we went and talked to them, here are the details. And then maybe perhaps the Diggermatics might even have information on this healer.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it might be a good idea to circle back with them.
Okay. Well, we'll find out next time.
Ooh-wee! That was a wild ending on that one, but you know what? We're glad you're here. We are rapidly getting close to 100 episodes, and it is great to have you here in the outro. Couple quick things. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. We are publishing all of our episodes out to YouTube so that you can actually watch us playing the game instead of just listening. And then if you want to hop over in our Discord, we've got all sorts of people in there talking about the podcast. And, you know, we're also talking about Baldur's Gate, because Baldur's Gate is out right now, and we're all loving it. And then we've got maps up in the Discord channel, some extra content with some other things. And if you have questions for us as players, we've got a little channel in there that you could submit for the bonus action segments. So really loving that. We hope to see you there. You can find all of our links at linktree.com/themadnesstable. And I think that's it. So we'll see you next time when
the madness continues.